This is recording. I got so many things going at the same time. Bon, bon. Let's see what's going on. So, if you want to let me know that you're good to go, Miss Josie, everything's good. We're good on the Facebook. Instagram seems to be nice too. If you guys want to let me know on Instagram if you can hear me, if everything's good, just thumbs up. I would appreciate the love. Thumbs up if or thumbs down if you guys can or cannot hear me. Thumbs up if you can. Thumbs down if you can't. Obviously. On the stream, same thing. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Rumble. Let me know. Thumbs up, thumbs down if everything's working, or just give me some love. All right. So it seems like it's working absolutely everywhere. So great. Let's get started. So let me ask you this. When's the last time that you prevented yourself from doing something because you were ashamed of it, embarrassed, and you cared more about what other people thought of it than what you thought about it? Did you end up doing it? Did you end up let your fear win, take over, or did you actually do what you were embarrassed to do? And today is all about me telling you how much I understand. It's something that I've done there's a specific subject that I've been really, really embarrassed to speak about for years now. And this is exactly why today I want to speak to all of you why I got baptized yesterday. This episode of the Nico Lagan Show is brought to you by the Alpha Creator Blueprint. Are you a male content creator on a mission to help other men get better? Is your content not getting the attention that it deserves? Would you like to increase your views by 10, 100, even 1,000 times? If so, head to the alphacreatorblueprint.com website and let us show you how we can help you do just that. Welcome to the Nico Lagan Show. I'm your host, Nico Lagan, Mr. Masculinity. I'm going to start by this today. I'm going to start by saying thank you to all the people that have commented on my post yesterday. If you follow me on the social media platforms, you'll see that I posted a video of me getting baptized yesterday. And even yesterday, I was a bit ashamed / embarrassed / reticent, like just not sure if I should post it or not. And, you know, I decided to post it. I said, screw this. I'm just going to post it. I went with my feelings, how I felt about it. I just said, you know what? I'm going to do it. And the comments that I've received are just mind blowing. I got to say this, and this is what I wanted to start with. It's been incredible, absolutely incredible. I've gotten tens and tens and tens of comments, and it's amazing. Thank you very much for all the people that took the time to thank, or not only thank me, but just took the time to just leave a comment. It's very inspirational. I'm so used to getting at all the flack. Like, I get a lot of flack for what I talk about on a daily basis. So it was great to start my day today with a bunch of incredible message. And there's one of them I wanted to share with you guys. It comes from Edward Young, which is a guy I've met probably 5 years ago doing Krav Maga in Toronto, Canada. And here is what he said. Brother, oh shit. That's my my bad. That's my answer to him. Basically what he said is, Nick, that's awesome. You are a warrior of God. Be strong in the Lord and in the strength of his might. But put on the whole armor of God that you may be able to stand against the schemes of the devil. You know, I was reading this morning, and it kind of got me teared up a bit because this is not something I've ever spoken about with him. It's not something that I even knew that he was Christian because, I'm not the only one that's, again, I don't know if embarrassed or ashamed is the proper word, but that's the only word I could think of. But I'm not the only one that does not talk about their personal belief, that doesn't talk about the fact that they are religious. And Edward is just one of them. I had no clue, absolutely no clue that he was a Christian, but he quoted Ephesians. So guess what? I learned it this morning. He is a Christian, and Edward, if you ever listen to this, I really want to tell you that I appreciated your message. It actually hit me right in the feels, as I like to say, and it got me a bit emotional. So thank you for every single one of you out there that left a great message. It really, really means a lot because, as I said, I was a bit embarrassed to share that video because it is very personal to me. It is something that I've believed in, that I've wanted to do for years now. I've wanted to get baptized for a long time now, at least 4 or 5 years, because I got baptized as a kid. My parents did it in a Catholic church, and to me, it makes no sense. It makes no sense to say that I believe in Jesus Christ if I'm a child, I'm an infant. It makes zero sense to me that there's no way an infant can know this. There's no way an infant can give themselves to following the path of Christ. And I decided, so I've always told myself that eventually I would do it as an adult, as a conscious adult, as a conscious choice, not by something that was forced onto me when I was just a child. And this is what I did yesterday. And I did it not because I'm declaring that I will follow Jesus Christ and his teachings. The reason I did it is because it's public. I've been following his teaching for a long time, for multiple years now, just behind the scene, just not really talking about it, just doing it in my heart, but not sharing. And you know, 2 weeks ago I was at service. I was in church on a Sunday morning with Josie, and we're in Greeley, Colorado right now. And, uh, the church that we've been going to is Foundations of Love in Colorado, and one of the pastor was giving a sermon. I don't know if sermon is the proper word, considering it's a non-denominational church, but all to say that he was talking about how, as a Christian, it's part of your duty to talk about it, to not be ashamed to say so, that it is important to talk about it. And then at the end of the ceremony, at the end of the sermon, he was saying how he was speaking how um, they were having some baptism happening at the end of the week. Well, 2 weeks from then, because that was 2 weeks ago. So they were going to baptize people last weekend. And I said, you know what? I just turned around, I looked at Josie, and I'm like, yep, let's do it. I'm gonna get baptized 2 weeks from now, because he's right. I need to come publicly with this. And this is the main reason I did it, because I've believed in God for a long time, but something was holding me back. Something inside of me was telling me that for some reason I was ashamed. I still don't understand it right now. I'm speaking about this and it's still weird, because considering all the shit that I talk about on a daily basis, I'm always talking about how men needs to be more masculine, that toxic masculinity doesn't exist, that if it only exists in a lack of masculinity. So I'm used to getting the flack. I'm used to talk about stuff that most people don't agree with. So I don't know why I had such a blockage about religion. And maybe it's because I don't want to sound preachy. Maybe it's because I don't want to tell people how to live their life. I don't want to appear like, one of those guys that's out there always talking about this, making other people feel bad for not being a Christian. And, I was thinking about it this morning. I was trying to come up with a reason why I did not like to talk about it. And I don't want to be preachy. I understand that there's a stigma attached to Christianity. Like there's a lot of stuff that has been done in the name of Christianity that is not right. Like there's a lot of violence that has been done. There's a lot of abuse that's been done in the name of God, and it makes no sense because that is not what He wants at all, at all, at all. So I understand that there is a stigma attached to it, and there's also a dogma. There's also a lot of people that are Christian and that will never question anything. Like they will not. They will accept everything that's being told to them instead of not necessarily doubting, but asking questions. I don't think there's anything wrong with asking questions, no matter what it's about. You should always ask, question, and look for the answer. Ask for the answer, look for the answer, no matter what it is, no matter how you feel about it, no matter if it goes against your beliefs. You should always be ready to doubt and to ask questions. And, you know, this is what I love about non denominational church, because until I got on this trip, I had no idea they existed. This is not something that um, I was ever aware. To me, where I'm from in Canada, everything seems to be through Catholic Church. So everything is, you need to attend mass, you need to go to see a priest that's going to preach, and you know it never really made that much sense to me, because that's the way I look at it. And I'm not here to bash other faith or anything, but I'm just talking about my personal experience and the way I see it. But I've never understood the a priest that can give you marriage advice when he's never been married. I've never understood a priest that can tell me that my life is good or not, and he's never been through what I've been through. And since we've been on this trip, we've had the pleasure to go in a lot of different states. We've probably done 10 or 12 of them right now, and we've got to go to a bunch of churches. Like most of them weren't really for us. Like we didn't feel the calling for it, because to me and Josie, it's a very personal thing, right? It's all about the congregation, it's about the pastor, it's about the life experience that those people are sharing. And we had no idea about non-denominational churches. And now that we've met a bunch of priests that are, well, they're not priests, my apologies, they're preachers, but now that we've met a bunch of them, we realize that a lot of them are just guys. They're just dudes that's been through a lot, like a lot. They've done a lot of bad things in their lives. They're flawed, but they're people that repented. They're people that decided to change by accepting the power of a higher being. And it's a beautiful thing. It's an absolutely beautiful thing. There's a church out of Yuma, I just can't remember what it's called. Tiny little church, maybe 20 people. The preach over there is just absolutely incredible. Absolutely fucking incredible. That guy was drug dealer, done a lot of drugs, done a lot of stupid things when he was younger. And now he's devoted to Jesus Christ, to helping others find meaning in this world. And it's just absolutely, absolutely amazing. And this is why I got baptized. This is really because I wanted to put it out there that this is what I believe in. I am, as the message from Edward earlier, I am a soldier of God. I absolutely am. And there's no reason for me to be ashamed. On the contrary, I will embrace it, because this is who I am. This is who I've been for a very long time. And it was just about time for me to start talking about it. And, I don't want to be a preacher. I don't want to be a pastor. I don't want to be a preacher. But there's one thing that I've known for a long time that I wanted to do, is to kind of be a connector, be somebody that can sit between people that have questions, like any of you that have questions, and point you in the right direction, and just show you that there are incredible people out there that are connected by faith, that have a shared faith, and it will make you stronger by association. I'm telling you, it's absolutely amazing. And I've been going on for about 15 minutes now, and this morning as I was writing this, I really want the people out there that are not religious, but that might have questions, that might be spiritual. They want to understand a bit more of what's going on, what are the feelings, what are the impressions that they're getting, what are they feeling inside of them, to see if there's something that can help them make sense of what's going on. And there's a lot of those great people out there. So if you're one of those that have questions, that don't know, that knows that there's something greater out there, that there's something that they need to start understanding, please reach out to me. Please don't be shy. Reach out. We'll talk. And I hopefully I can point you in the right directions. Like, I've met some incredible people all over the place. So please feel free to get in touch with me if you have questions. And you know, this morning, as I was contemplating what happened yesterday, as I was trying to make sense of everything, because it's, as I said earlier, it's something that I've been wanting to do for a long time, but it is not something that was planned. It's something that I was waiting for the right time, for the right impression, for the right place to do this, and I just went with it. And as I was thinking about this morning, I started to think about all the people that I've met over the past few years while still in Canada, while traveling, and now on the road for the past 8 months. And I just saw that Rustin Hughes just connected to the Instagram feed. What's up, brother? And he is one of the guys that I have on my list, interesting enough. So maybe you're going to get to hear somebody talk some good stuff about you, because in person, I don't give that many compliments, eh, Rustin? But yeah, I was sitting preparing for this show this morning, and I started making a list of the people that I've met over the years that had faith, and how they impacted me, and how they still impact me to this day. And I wanted to take the time today to actually give them the credit that they deserve. And yeah, let's start with this. This is something that really means something to me, because they deserve the praise. And yeah, so Mike Creed, a guy I've met, holy shit, 20 years ago ish, doing Muay Thai. He's been a Christian his whole life, for what I know. Every time we talk, we always have a portion that has to do about God. His faith is extremely, extremely, extremely inspiring to me. And I'm lucky to be able to call him a brother. Warren Aldridge, which man, what to say about this guy? He's the age of my mother. He's a guy I met on a diving trip about 6 years ago in Belize, and we instantly connected. We instantly hit it off, and he's a Christian man. He's somebody that I look up to. Very successful businessman, a great father. He's always giving back to the community. He dedicates at least one of his days every week to just do charity work. He's an amazing, amazing individual, and I have the pleasure of calling him literally, he's like a father figure to me. He's a mentor to me, and he's one of my best friends. So um, the next one is an interesting one. Jamie Mason. Somehow he called me this morning. The guy reached me out. I don't think he realizes where I am right now, because he called me at like 5:30 in the morning. But yeah, I was already up, so it's all good. But he called me this morning because he saw the post I did about getting baptized yesterday, and he's like, bro, it's amazing. You'll see how it's going to change your life. It's He just took the time to reach out to let me know that, yeah, welcome to the family. And what's the most interesting about Jamie Mason is that we've been speaking for probably 3 years. We were introduced by a guy that I did a podcast with in Canada. We've never met. Jamie and I have never met face to face. I've never had the chance to hug him yet, but we talk every few months, and we have very deep spiritual conversations between the two of us. He is an absolutely amazing, amazing individual, but I just find it so, what's the word? I want to say interesting, but it's not enough. I find it amazing that a guy like him that I've never met took the time out of his extremely busy day to reach out to me this morning just to call 5 minutes, not even, just to say, brother, what you did is amazing. And I'm fucking happy you did it. And I'm right there with you. And I love you. That's it. That was our conversation this morning. It's just absolute amazing, amazing, amazing guy. Back in February, I was recording a podcast, and somebody reached out to me called David Dowland, and he's a guy. He's not a preacher, but he grew up in the church. He is somebody that was a youth minister. Now he helps men. He's a married guy, multiple kids, great guy. He invited me on his podcast. We spoke about everything, especially like he's also trying to help men get better. And he asked me out of the blue. He's like, bro, I know this is going to be a very short notice, but I am organizing a men event. It's a men convention that he organizes. I think it was the second year that he did it. It's called the Phoenix Men Conference. It was out of Washington State, just outside of Seattle. And he's like, bro, if you want to come, I'd love to have you. And yeah, he had me as a keynote speaker there. Turns out that it was recorded in a church. A bunch of young and older men were there. I got the chance to give a speech in front of some amazing individual, and it was all because of David saw something very spiritual about me, and he invited me down there. One of the best conversations I've ever had was with a Vietnam War vet at that event when I did the keynote, and he came up to me thanking me for doing what I'm doing, and I'm just like, brother, I don't know why you're thanking me. I'm thanking you. Like I'm the one that should be thanking you. And yeah, all recorded in a church. I did not know that it was in a church, but yeah, just somebody out of the goodness of their heart seeing something, inviting me without knowing me, without having had previous conversation, just decided to invite me there. I met a pastor called Kyle Slusher on that event, and he's the first pastor. He was the pastor of the church where the event was taking place. And he was the first pastor I've ever met that was from a non-denominational church. And it was just a great conversation because you know he agrees with me that the church is not there to have a connection between you and your God. God is somebody I speak to every day. I don't need an interpreter. I don't need somebody between me and him. I contact him when I need to, and it's a personal conversation that I have with him. I don't need a third party to tell me if I'm right, if I'm wrong, if what I'm doing is should be done a different way. And he agreed. Kyle was the first one to say, you know what? We are gatherers is what we do. We bring people together through a common faith, and that is all we do. I'm making it sound like it's simple. It definitely is not, but the point of the matter is that they are not there to tell you how to connect with your God. They are there to connect other individual that believe in God. And Kyle was the first one to admit that, and it was refreshing. It was beautiful, and a lot of respect for this man. When we were in El Paso, Texas, we were at a church for a Sunday service, and there was this guy that sat a few same row as us, same row as Josie and I, but sat probably 4 or 5 seats away. Was there with his family. You could tell his wife was there. He had a bunch of kids there with him, and the guy looked like a gangster. Like he was Mexican gangster, 100%. I could tell right away. Like heavily tattooed, just the way he walked. I was like, man, that guy had a I say a great life, but had a very, very he had a lot of experience, let's say that. And I could tell that God saved him. Like I can tell that God saved him. Like I didn't need him to tell me this, but as I often do when I get those drive or those impression from people, I just approach them. I just start talking to them, and I have no shame in doing it. Josie is so used to it. She's like, "Oh, there we go again," and that's what I told her. I looked at the guy. I looked at Josie. I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna wait for him after the service so I can talk to him," and that's exactly what I did. I approached him. I'm like, "Hey, bro, have you ever talked about your story?" We hit it off. The guy's fucking cool. He invited me to his house. We recorded a podcast, him and I. His name is AJ Kano, and check it out. If what an inspiring story. He spent more than, I think it's between 10 and 15 years in federal prison for drug. And what a great man that guy is. Now he's trying to help other young men, other Mexican young men, not to go through what he's been through. And this is because he got saved by Jesus Christ. There's no other way to say it. This is exactly why he does what he does today, and he's the man that he is today. But absolutely, absolutely amazing. Then we moved from El Paso. We had fun around. We ended up in Yuma, Arizona, where we spent about 2.5 months there. And there's a guy that approached me. I do martial arts, so most of the cities that I go to, I try to find a school and do a few classes. I don't have a time to train 4 or 5 times a week like I used to, but I'll do a few classes. Like I try to get one every week, one every 2 weeks if I can, but I try to make the time to still have fun with this. And I ended up to a gym called Yuma Top Team. If you're ever in Yuma, Arizona, this is the place to go. Don, that runs the gym, is fucking amazing. So we hit it off. Him and we spoke. I trained there a few times. Super cool dude. And one day I get somebody reach out to me called Johnny Porter. He's like, "Hey, brother, love what you do. I'd love to have you on my radio show." I'm like, "Okay, bro. Sounds good to me." We met in person. Extremely, extremely cool dude. Turns out he's been on this radio show for years. He's a very well known guy in Yuma because he's an entrepreneur. He's been there forever. Everybody knows him. And we started talking. He's extremely spiritual. He's extremely Christian. And not only did he actually did have me on his radio show, but he introduced me to his pastor. And it blows my mind that I forgot the name of that pastor, but super tiny church, maybe 20 people could fit in there. And he traveled the world to spread Jesus Christ's word. Stopped doing it because Jesus told him to just do a small thing in Yuma, so that's what he's doing. But he's a guy with an extraordinary life. Like his life is not is the life of a broken man, of a flawed man, but again found redemption through faith. So when we were in Yuma, we went to a bunch of his services, and the guy's just incredible. Johnny was always there. It's, you know, amazing, absolutely amazing. I also, off of Instagram, I met a guy called Stephen Powell's, which is he calls himself the gun life coach. Fucking incredible. If you want to hit him up, he's freaking awesome. He teaches, he's ex-military. He teaches professional and regular folks how to use a firearm, how to defend themselves with a firearm. But we connected through the church. We connected through faith. And we left Yuma. We ended up in Colorado, and we've been here for about 5 weeks now. And the only single reason that we're here is because of a guy named Matt Shoop. He invited me here because he found me online. We had great conversation. He's like, "Bro, you need to come up here. We need to do some stuff together." And I strongly believe that the reason I'm here is because I needed to find a church to get baptized, and it turns out I got baptized at his church. He was there yesterday at the service. He's just very successful businessman, BJJ black belt. He's a podcaster. He's an author, and is just a great, great, great dude. He introduced me to another guy called Rustin Hughes, which another great, great guy, veteran, lost his right leg a few years back, and instead of using this as an excuse, he just started doing BJJ. He's a brown belt now, developed a complete style around the fact that he's missing a leg. It's absolutely amazing. I also recorded a podcast with him. If you want to know his story, it was last week. Just incredible, incredible dude. And turns out that the guy that owns the gym where he teaches is a guy named Ryan Schultz. He's old retired professional fighter. IFL champion. He's really a pioneer. I used to watch him fight back in the days. He was part of Team Quest, which was arguably the best gym back then, where Matt Lindland, Dan Anderson, he trained with Rampage, he trained with Charles Sonnen, he trained with Randy Couture. Like the list goes on and on and on. And I had a podcast with him this weekend. Great fucking individual too, but extremely, extremely dedicated to Christianity. And I also want to talk about the pastor that did baptize me yesterday, Pastor Carl Sutter out of Foundation. He's the main pastor and the founder of Foundation Church in Loveland, Colorado. Got the pleasure of having of recording a podcast with him a couple of days ago, and we hit it off. From the first time we met about 3 weeks ago, we just hit it off. Gave me his number. We've been talking ever since. Just a great, great, great dude. And you know, all the guys that I've spoke about today have one thing in common. We all have one fucking thing in common. We believe in Jesus Christ and we follow God. That's it. This is the reason I've met every single one of those guys. And you know, this is one of the reasons that I got baptized yesterday, is really because all of those guys are so extraordinary. They're so inspiring to me. They're really an inspiration for me. And I needed to do it publicly so that I can now speak about this. So if what I'm saying, what I said today inspires you, if you have questions about it, please reach out to me. Please let me know. Please don't be ashamed to reach out. I want to help people connect with other faith related individuals where they can help you grow, make maybe understand what's going on in your head, in your heart, but don't be ashamed. Don't do what I've done for years. Don't be ashamed. Just reach out. And yeah, that's really what I wanted to talk about today. And I want every single one of you to know that I'm very grateful. I'm grateful for all the people that left messages. I'm very grateful for the people that comment. I'm always grateful for the people that watch these lives, that watch my podcast. And I want to thank you once again, because without you guys, this would not be happening. So know that I'm very grateful. And on that note, remember that the world is changed one man at a time, and it takes just one man to change the world. God bless every single one of you out there. Peace out.